Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 2nd of August. Looking at the euro dollar first, and we've yesterday, the most minute of a range of a day, we've already just about done the similar range. So probably not a difficult one there. Pivots would be very pinched today on the dailies, but looking first at what we've got here, sort of bullish flag sitting here on the 4 hourly pattern, as you can see, and it is looking like it wants to push up now. Whether it double tops or whether it rolls is another matter. It's still got an untouched weekly monthly pivot below us, so there is the potential for it to want to still come back for that. Actually, there's a weekly pivot there as well, so the weekly and monthly pivots are both underlying at around about 11:05. But at the moment, looking more on the erring on the bullish side here. Tight range, as I said, the pivots for today are a bit of a joke in terms of how squeezed they are. And I think you'll be looking at the 4 hourly pivots more than anything else because they'll most likely, I mean, the are saying that the R2 would provide potential resistance here if it does push up to there with Friday's highs. So there is certainly potential for them to start working initially anyway, but as I say, the range is so tight. We'll look at a break of that 50 MA, the 60-minute 50 for the downside towards the weekly stroke monthly pivots if that was to happen. But at the moment, it's erring towards the bullish side looking here. Although on some time frames, even in the alley, there was a fractional overbought signal a little while ago. But it's so tight, it's out of a consolidation phase, and it, as I say, could easily continue to those at least double top. Cable was tightish range yesterday, but more in norm. Wasn't too tight at all. Seeing another move back down towards the monthly pivot here, and it sort of did quite well at one point, retracement yesterday, sort of early afternoon, but then gave it back, and well, we're seeing as I say, another bit of a rally at the moment. Looking at the hourly point of view, well, the pivots are slightly better spaced again on this time frame, but we may get some very pinched 4 hourly pivots. If we can start breaking up back here, I'm still looking from a bigger picture. I'm still slightly long, say slightly long, but it seems to be taking a long time. But I'm still erring towards the upside favour at the moment. Of course, that may all change tomorrow. We do have construction PMI out this morning, which could, if it comes in disappointing, obviously see the pound drop and could be quite a negative figure. However, of course, vice versa, positive figure. I mean, it's expected to come in at 44.2, which is the lowest for a long time. If it comes in well above that, I mean, we'd be up until June 2nd, we were sort of in the 50s. Now this is a very pessimistic number coming in at the moment. Okay, looking at Aussie dollar. So data out throughout the Asian session where the cash rate was, the base rate was left untouched. Well, didn't mean to say we haven't already had a spike down back to what was originally a trend line running across here. Let's just broaden this out a little bit. There was a trend line I'd been putting across the lows there, looking to see if it was going to break. I'm still looking to see if this, from a daily perspective, if we drop and fall below the 50, again, that really would confirm a lower high and some downside. But in the main, it's in a relatively tight range for the last 2 months, and it possibly could just well stay there. Looking from an hourly perspective, well, we got oversold, I think, into that. Yep, oversold into that low there at 5 o'clock this morning, and then it's pitched up from there, getting close back to its daily pivot. Well, daily pivot, the monthly's already been hit. Daily pivot just not far above, so there is the potential to run into that. Doesn't look, that's nice, doesn't look the most of bullish markets the way it's sort of sitting here though. It's obviously put lower highs in from an hourly perspective of intraday trading. It doesn't look great at the moment. It would need to get back above that 50 for me to be even interested. Not that I spend a lot of time trading it of late. Canadian dollar then. Well, we're seeing it bounce, or we were seeing it bounce. Let's just have a quick look. A minor bounce coming back off of oil here, about 20 cents or so. Now, it has gone into its ghost S3 pivot there, and which is tying up to a weekly S1 pivot here. Could get a bit of a bounce from here. Well, it is getting a bit of a bounce from here, oil, and start pushing back towards its daily pivot, and which in turn may bring the Canadian dollar down. So let's have a look at the Canadian dollar and take the bigger picture first. So yesterday shoved up. Eventually, it seems to take forever for the Canadian dollar to actually really get a proper shove. It retraced quite a few times in between. Eventually got to its weekly pivot, pulled back and pushed up, and anyway, it's bullish at the moment. It's above the monthly, weekly pivots, erring towards the bullish side, although, as I say, with oil coming in, it's putting a 4-hourly pivot swing in there, and there is the potential for a bit more downside. Still got the daily pivot below us, which could of course attract it if it can break through these 21s. If it continues through that way and oil continues pushing up, I would expect that daily pivot to be hit and some. Okay, that's pretty much it today. As I say, construction PMI for the UK for the pound is at 930. Thereafter, really, US data at 130. Personal spending, we'll get a blip around that sort of data, and the core piece, personal consumption expenditure. We'll get some action around that sort of news. Let me see. Then we've got, that's it really. Nothing else really I can see there that's going to give us anything significant. So really, we could be in for another quietish day after we get through the news events. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.